So I've heard recently some videos about why 3D screens do not catch on and 3D devices. There is some concern of definitely it making you feel physically more ill. Now, there's some ways of lowering that, such as making the images seem more far away. That actually lowers it by meaning that if you move around, it doesn't move as much, around. There's certain polarizations and strobe effects people have tried. There's higher quality ones, but that cost a lot more money. And for the price tag, people simply did not want it because it's marketed at more of a normal audience. But I think there's a lot of uses for them right now, even if it's not for a normal audience, that then it could speed up the development so everyone could use them. So the first use I really want to talk about is for designing stuff. Designing stuff is really important with 3D modeling. I'm talking everything from car engines to designing new molecules and stuff like that. So it could be very, very useful for design workplaces. And it could train the new people also to think in new ways with movements and stuff like that. Every time we invented a new drafting thing, remarkable advances have happened. Now, having one big computer for 10 people to use, the state of the mill, as in the workplace, well, that's a lot cheaper than having it on a small portable laptop they have to take with them. Or it could be something that could, for fancy people to do work that the average person doesn't do, they keep it at home, but might not have to even portable them for the most benefit. Another one is just for classrooms to learn with more 3D engagement for things that are really, really complex, such as molecules and how they interact, or stuff like that. Same basic idea. And since it's in the classroom, many people could use the same device altogether, so it can be more expensive but divided over many people. Now, as they learn how to use it in the classroom more, the design aspect and all the other aspects I'm talking about become more and more useful and practical for other people to do, not just a waste of money. These classrooms could also be where you train people to do more advanced stuff like medical school or something like that, where it might be more useful to see 3D stuff. And the earlier on you train them in more advanced ways, the better they are at it. For other ones, it might help with disabled people that are already more limited, so they don't experience as much going outside and stuff. So having seen stuff in 3D manner might help people with disabilities more. It might also help people with disabilities more because they may be able to interact with 3D objects in more complex ways and be able to better work at home or in environments, or keep them entertained when they're in a place like a hospital where it's going to be very traumatic or something like that, and just in general increase their quality of life dramatically. It might also encourage them, if they aren't able to go out as much, if it's something 3D, to move around more in a way that's both healthy for their mind and body, because they're interacting with stuff that has a three-dimensional space, so they might move their hands through it or something like that. And maybe it also encourages people to more interact with them as they see they're doing more stuff, or they build more stuff for them. Besides this, there might be a secondary benefit is 3D graphics might improve a computer's ability for the computer itself to model stuff and figure out stuff. Because like the computer might learn to now that has to generate 3D graphics to generate 3D models itself and solve 3D problems. You actually see this actually in GPUs, which are graphic processing units, are being used a lot more and more for AIs and solving complex problems that require visual data, instead of just displaying visual data for people. They're solving stuff with molecules and mechanics and identification and stuff like that. Another thing that might get more advanced from this as a secondary benefit is just better optics. But having better optics might lead to better sensors to detect anything from molecules to image people to better movies. Who knows what? Better optics might lead to better data transmission of data, cooler displays, who knows what. Also, better optics might lead to better lithography. This is how we make compute chips and stuff like that. Another thing that this whole thing might be able to do is it might lead to better training of people. What if doctors, instead of training on a few dead bodies, on a plastic model you make that's very expensive, it might be hard to make, or looking at a 2D image, they could train on a 3D display of the human body. And the human body actually could be the patient to operate on, and they could operate a body model of that patient, and they could operate hundreds of times before actually doing the actual procedure to get even better feel of it. Or you could train people that need to do very dangerous tasks on a 3D model, or very delicate tasks, from maybe repairing satellites in outer space, to fixing power lines, to navigating buildings or something during a rescue mission. All very things that are very worthwhile, and then if you fail big time. And you can also train again for very specific instances of it, so you're the best adapted for that specific instance. Another thing is it could help encourage remote work, and remote work might be hugely encouraging for people with disabilities, but also could narrow down commutes. It could save a lot of energy, congestion, low accidents, give people more flexibility. It could let you have experts more around the world, not just locally. But it could also help with remote work by having, if you have 3D displays, you could have more 3D controls to control something like robots more easily that are in a factory working. And that means that a person might be able to control a robot that does dangerous work they don't want a human being to handle safer. Or you could have a skilled surgeon operate a surgery robot and have the most skilled person operate it, even if they're on the other side of the globe. Or maybe have someone operate on the other side of the globe because the emergency happened in the middle of the night and they're more awake, so they're more with it than the person that's there. Maybe you could sell to high-end gamers stuff because they're just willing to buy a lot more money. Or you could maybe sell it to rich folks because they're more likely to spend a lot more money on anything. Another thing is it could lead to more multifunctional spaces that could quickly adapt to a variety of usage or things because they can quickly display just a bunch of different things. So maybe it goes from work A, where you have a workspace that can be used for 5 different million times of work. Maybe you're still trying to figure out something, so you're testing out controllers for a new device. You want to figure out configurations, so you keep playing around with different controls or different devices and different layouts for maybe a room or something like that you just still very much in the planning stage. This could also be maybe integrated into a whole room or a setup where they have a soundscape, so you move around and there's different sounds in it, so it gives you even more 3D with the sounds and stuff or controls. Or maybe there's a tactile scape so you can feel different things to make it even more immersive, or different other things you can just lay around. You could also use this in maybe more art exhibits or museum or science exhibits. Maybe you could also have it with different smells that pop up, and because smells can be hard to mix and stuff like that, more or be hard to distribute right, having it done in a bigger space with more ventilation systems might be a better way of doing it. It also just might lead to people being healthier because they're more active and moving around more. So that is a huge benefit right there. Or they're more productive so they can work less and accomplish the same amount in less time. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard. With your help, I think I can do it. Of course, if you have any of these future videos, comments, or suggestions, leave in the comment section below. And the same thing for this video or any questions. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.